So we've just come in. It is fully tiled. Beautiful. You remember what it was first of the week? Look at that. See how we managed to sort that window out? Overlaps the window bit. Not else you can do unless you take the window out. The corners. It's like a work of art. It is like a work of art. As you can see, these come built up, but I do not rely on them not leaking, pulling them back out and pulling them back in. So the first thing I do is I take it all apart. Take it all apart. Pull that there.
You want your new door on and that?
Yeah, let's try the new building. Take it all apart. Put it to one side. Then you've got your brackets. These are the brackets which pull the toilet down. So the first thing I do, we'll take them off. So they screw off there. Then that screws off there. Quite a good bracket this. Then what I do is I get the old silicone out. Now people who say silicone ruins this stuff don't. I've been using this for 10 years. I've done it the exact same every time. In fact more than 10 years, about 15 years. Silicone that like that. Silicone this like this. Because there's one thing, what happens is when these washers get old and they're still in water all that time, they get flaky. They get flaky and they start leaking. And then flat screwdriver. Nice and tight. And then on to the next. Don't care for me, Argentina. Do it like this. Every time, you will never have a problem. Ever have a problem, Trevor? Ever have a problem? Now some instructions that say to you, you don't need this, but no on all them new builds, have a look up when you go in the properties and you'll see it all coming through the ceiling. All comes through the ceiling because the lads just leave it on like this, and instead of silicone in it, they just rely on the rubbers. The toilets get smooth, starts leaking, and then it starts leaking and it comes through the ceiling. But it's not leaking enough for people to be bothered about, so they leave it. Then over time it gets worse, and it gets worse, and then before you know it, you've got a massive stain on your ceiling. You know what I mean? Nice. Nice. That's what you do. Nicely silicone. Then, now what I do is, see that? I don't rely on that either. We'll pull this off. silicone around that part. Push that back down. Silicone around that part. Now, some plumbers moan about silicone being on it. So what happens when you come to change it? If you can't change a toilet which has been silicone with a siphon, give it up. Just give it up, kids. See what I mean? Just give it up with a bad job. When you're putting this on, you've got to make sure, once we've got it, let me turn it round so you can see. Got to make sure that there's plenty of room there for it to move. Oh baby, gotta know that I'm getting old, so I have been told. Nice and tight, make sure it's tight because sometimes the rubber don't pull down and then you're knackered. Same again with this, silicone around there. This is a fully back to wall toilet, so what you don't want, when you put that in, you make sure it's like that, you don't want it leaking, because when you put this on you don't want to, you definitely don't want it leaking. You can do with a big pair of grips for this.
Big.
Yeah, it don't matter. I'll manage with these. I shall manage with these. Nice and tight. Down. Make sure when it's in, it'll be beautiful. Just move it round to the side. Ooh yeah. So what you've got in there, you've got the overflow. They're the buttons when the plug goes on. With the extensions, they'll go down and they'll let you either one. Bish, Bash, Bosh. That's your flow mechanism. See that mark there, that's where the water needs to come to there. So that is round about the top of that line there, so that should work bang on. Never take for granted that it's right, because how do you know it's right? You don't know it's right, do you? It could be wrong. So that's on, that's on, that's on, that's on, that's on. So now what we've got there for the toilet is this is an old lead part. Now to replace it, we'd have to replace the stack, and they don't want to go to the extent of that. There's nothing wrong with it. They don't need to. If you wanted to replace it, we'd replace it. But we don't need to replace it, it's banging. So what you want to do is, this is a 3.5 inch flex. So put your flex in, put your rubber in first, and then that part, dip it in some water, twist it, and twist it in, and it'll form seal. Just cut that off. It'll form a seal. Put your hand down it. Make sure that you've got it right. Make sure it's nice. That's it. Remember, you've got your king hair gloves on your gloves. And that's it. Go out because you're in my way, please. You're in the gloves. Now what we can do is, we've got the flex there, so now what we need to do is the waste. At the bottom, is the water off, Lee?
I think so.
You think so? It's no good thinking. It's no good thinking, Ches. Think so.
No. Yeah. No.
Definite.
Yeah.
So outside tap on you.
No.
So what we're doing is we're using a flex because I do it on a pivot system. So your flex wants to be hand tight. Hand tight. Yeah? Because if you tighten it up too much, you're going to split the rubber. That's what I keep telling people. Split the rubber. So now what we can do is we can move this out of the way. And then we can put the toilet closer because it's these back to walls are way some. Do you know what I mean? So let me just get that on there. And we'll put the camera there for a minute. These are old towels. Oh yeah. So we've got that on now. I'm just checking the fit for it. Make sure it fits all the way around. Can you see how I've got a bit of a curve back? Slot your rubber on. You want to make sure it's not sticking out. Do you know what I mean? And then we bolt it up. Like so. Where's my other knot? Where's my other knot? Have you picked it up, Lee?
What?
My other knot off toilet.
No. Put down there. You got it?
Yeah, I've got it, thank you. You're watching. See what I mean? Now this, you don't want it too tight, you don't want it too slack. Because what you got to think is when we get this back to wall, sometimes you have to tweak that, do you know what I mean? Just bolt it in. So you want a little bit of movement, and that washer at bottom, just push it down with your arm. That washer at bottom will do it. So we know his trap fits on there. We know his waist fits on there. So that we want. And you see there? That flex, a little bit of pipe in there. Then we're going to elbow it across onto this. So, yeah. Right, so there, we're going to elbow it across. What we're doing is, you want to be coming just upside of it. Just upside of it. Whenever you use plastic, all new builds are plastic. If you're in a new build, you'll find out it's plastic. Always make sure it's in always feel it, make sure it's nice. Passes my keys, Lee. I don't think that went. That's it. That's it. Now we've got on a little pivot, you see. Back like that. Bit of pipe in there. My phone never stops ringing. Now we have to get this over there. I won't be taking this back out once I get it in. I'm using the towel so I don't scratch the floor. Just balance it on the thingy. This is it. I only use toilet flexi. That's on there, like that. So it's going to go on there like that. And when we push it back, it'll go in. Do you know what I mean? Pull it out, push it back, it'll go in. So what we need to do is, I want to be about there. Good thing about plastic is it just alters like that. I've got stitches in my thumb, it's a bit tender, you know what I mean? But I will manage. I will manage. Oh yeah. Right, Tommy Lee, turn water on. Now we can test it before we slide it back. And it'll be good. I'll just wait while water gets turned on. Is it on? Time's money. Time's money. So we've got no leaks there, we know it's not leaking there, we know it's not leaking there on the bend down for it. It's a very tight back to wall pan this, look how tight it is at bottom. Do you know what I mean? So you've not got a lot of room there. So it's very tight, so you've got to keep your fittings tight onto it. I'm just going to fill it up, flush it, and we'll test it. What's going on in there? That's beautiful. That is just beautiful. Now I'm going to slide it back, we're going to drill on a slant through the moles there, we're going to bolt it to the wall. After I've tested it a lot of times, now I can line it up. I know it's not going to leak because it won't affect it with how I've done it. I've done it on a lift system, so that is pulling round, and when I push it back it's going to slot back. Like so. And that is how we get a back to wall pan. Just give it another flush. Now all we need to do is drill through the moles. Keep the towel there so you don't scratch your front, do you know what I mean? And then when we're ready we're going to pull that towel out after I just bolt them up. So these are porcelain tiles. Keep it a bit wet. Look at that, like a dream. Keep it a bit wet. Like a dream. Get rid of any stuff in there without flushing. Some red plugs through there, some screws in there. Bish, bash, bosh, that's how you fit a back to wall toilet. Beautiful. So you put your red plugs in, knock it in slightly. I'm using these caps just so I can put over my screw holes. So what happens is you don't want pot scraping, do you know what I mean? So that's one in. That's two in. Or you might find as well, depending on this toilet lid, I'll check it before I put it on. Sometimes you need to pull the pan off slightly to get the lid in. So we'll see now. Yeah, please. Like so, see what I mean? The lid will not fit because that toilet's pulled right back to the wall and it's flat. So what you have to do is unscrew it slightly to be able to move it forward. Wow, that is quite a lot to move it forward. Might have to shave that off. Might have to shave that off.
So it's not system.
No, it's flat. It is flat on it, but there's I just don't like the gap. Me not like the gap. So we'll take that off, clean that off, and then at back of there now is I'll put a chock in it, then clear silicone along back of it, and then that's tilted in. It is it's flat down, but see them lips there? That's what stops it from going down. You know what I mean? What I might do is get grinded out, because that to me is not a very good fit. It fits, but it's
Back.
well, I can't.
Oh, it's in at top.
Yeah, I can't do know about it, can I? Take it out a little bit more. And that's it. But if you see there, it is flush onto it. The only time you're ever going to see it is if you bend down on your knees, do you know what I mean? But I like it to be bang on. Do you know what I mean?
Might go back a bit more until that tape.
No, I won't. No chance. They always do it, it's stupid. It is stupid. In fact, look at that now, I pushed it back there. Can you see that? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get grinder. Get a grinder. So what I'm going to do is, see that lip there? I'm going to cut it off. Little bit of a modification. And there we go. Sits down fully. Can you see there? Little bit of a tweak. Now we can screw it fully back. Bish, bash, bosh. Then for my toilet seat, I put silicone around there because they always slip these. Then what happens is you put that in and then you screw it up and it concertinas together. So you push it fully in. Make sure it's fully down before you start. Might as well do the other one while I'm here. Now a lot of people say you don't silicone, don't silicone. But you don't want wee and everything going down there, do you? You know what I mean? Silicone it. Why not? Beautiful. You don't want it to be moving, do you? Do you know what I mean? So the key is push it right down, make sure that's firm on there, and then that silicone will take about 3 hours to go off properly. By the time that goes off properly, that's when people are going to be sat on it and they'll be moving left and right. And then my drill, my new little drill.
Okay.
I'm using this. If you're not used to this, don't use them. Screw it right up until you've got it grabbed, passes up positively. And then what you need to do is this in fully tight. So get it into position to where you want, pull the toilet on and then move it forward. Then, as you can see, you want your rim so it has to fit exact. Then what you can do is tighten it up fully. Push button in at back. That's it. Nice and tight. Make sure that they're flat. And then what we do, get his caps. Drop it in toilet.
Yeah.
Put one cap on there. old t-shirt, dry it out. Why is this toilet yellow?
What?
Have you just been to the toilet, Lee?
What? You're not yellow.
So at the back of the button, you've got a button. When you click it on, it clicks on like that, and it clicks in. Push the button, and it just clicks off. That's how it wants to be. Now that is what you call a perfect fit. Now remember, these toilet seats, when someone sits on them and they wangle them on, they're gonna move. Do you know what I mean? They're gonna move. But you tighten it up nice and tight. That's all you can do. Put a bit of silicone around the holes. Stop all the crap from going down it at the back of it, because it's a concealed unit, you can't clean it. Once that dries, it'll be beautiful. Chances are they won't move. Put us caps on this toilet there, and now we're going to put the lid on. My camera's overheating, it's not very good. This GoPro's not very good. So we've got this clamp on, then you can just adjust. And that's how you do a toilet, start to finish, beautiful. We can pull this towel out now, and it's done. Job done. Now we're on to that.